Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Capital Pulse. I'm Jeff Hogan and I'm the host. So, today we're going to be talking about how to acquire a business with little money down, or as the gurus always say, OPM, other people's money. So, how do you do that with as little cash out of pocket? Well, the biggest villain today in the world of M&A is basically, you know, isn't a bad P&L, it's the liquidity lock. You found the perfect business to buy, but you're starting at $1 million purchase price and thinking, I don't have $100,000 in cash to put down. You feel like you've been sidelined while the big fish snap up the deals. So today we're going to kill that villain, and I'm going to show you how the updated SBA rules for 2026 allow you to leverage the seller's confidence to keep your cash in your pocket and be able to acquire the business and be able to run it. So let's get into the math. Most people think the SBA requires a 10% down payment from the buyer. That's not completely true. Matter of fact, that's false. Under the current SBA guidelines, the SBA requires a 10% equity injection. That doesn't necessarily mean it has to be your cash. It can come from other sources. And here's a guide to a basic, simple way of structuring the deal to make you come in with a 5% down payment. So, one of them is the 50-50 split. The or the 5% split. You bring 5% of the project cost in cash, and the seller carries the note for the other 5%. And then what they do is they put the note on full standby. That's the way they can do it. If the seller's note is on full standby, meaning no principal or interest payments for the life of the SBA loan, the SBA basically counts that as a seller's note as a equity injection for the 10%. Why does that matter? It's $1 million deal. You save yourself $50,000 in liquidity. That's your day one marketing budget. That's your first hire or your emergency reserves and operating capital. You aren't just buying a business, you're buying a safety net, and it's already installed. So, what's the plan? You got to be careful of the 1% trap. And that's what we're going to deal with right now. But that trap is you need to avoid. And I see buyers try to keep sellers invested by letting them keep a 1 or 2% interest in the stake in the company. Not a good idea. Warning, that in 2026, the SBA has changed up the rules again, and there's a zero tolerance for messy ownerships. If the seller retains any equity in a business, even 1%, not the loan, but equity ownership, they are legally considered an owner. That means they must personally guarantee your loan for at least the first 2 years. They must guarantee the loan. That means they got to put up their financials, they got to personally guarantee it, and they're still tied to the business and the debt of the business. Most sellers are not willing to do that, and most of them are going to refuse the deal. They want a clean exit. They want to be able to get on the beach, stick their toes in the sand, and drink margaritas and not have to worry about anything. So they don't want another decade of liabilities for the business that they no longer have any control over. So what's the fix? If you want the seller to stay involved, give them a consulting agreement for 12 months or a performance bonus tied to the future profits of the business and have them tied in that way. Don't hire them as an employee. That's not allowed either. Just don't give them a single share of stock, or financing will hit the brick wall and it's going to stop at that point. But if they carry back the note and they do it on full standby, you'll be able to classify that as equity. So, what's your action plan? Negotiate the standby. Ask the seller if they'll put the 5% on full standby for the deal to close. The other one is verify citizenship. As of March 1st of 2026, 100% of the new ownership must be a U.S. citizen or U.S. national. Check this before you start the process of an appraisal or spending any money on evaluation of the business, because that will put a major break on the process of getting it closed. We want to clean up the capital ownership table. Ensure that your LOI or the purchase agreement explicitly states it's 100% stock or asset purchase of the business. 100%. So don't let a lack of cash stop you from owning your future. The capital is there if you know how to structure the deal and make it correctly. If you have questions, reach out. Give me a call, email me, or put a comment in the below, and I'll be more than happy to give you some guidance on how to structure a deal to be able to do it with little cash out. And if you're looking at a business acquisition and down payment is the only thing that's standing in your way, tell you what, I put together a deal structure worksheet specifically that talks about the rules for this year. So hit the link below, make a comment, or reach out, and I'll be more than happy to send that to you. I'm Jeff Ogan with the Capital Pulse. Keep your finger on the pulse, and I'll see you tomorrow.